Hi, this is Dallin Stringham back at the jewelry store, and I'm doing the cultural differences assignment. Now, I really liked this opportunity to watch the video, and both videos were really awesome. One of the key things that really stood out to me was the subtlety of body language, because typically when it comes to cultural difference, a lot of time we really just think about like words or traditions. Of course, in like a business scenario setting, it's more about words and a little bit less about like family traditions. However, body language is a huge aspect, and that really goes into the like, okay, like someone can say something like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're not gonna do this. But like the guy said after he was working with his colleagues, was like, hey, that meeting was great, they're totally gonna do it. He's like, actually, based on their body language, they're probably not, like if you read that. And so it's very interesting when you see that difference, it can make a huge change in how you view things. And so this kind of reminded me of how I served my mission in Italy, and there were a lot of differences that I had to learn culturally, because like over here in the States, for example, we very much are like, oh, how have you been? Like that's just kind of like a bid that we give to people to be like, hey, like how's it going? And then they'll respond with, oh, I'm good. In Europe, though, they take things a lot more seriously, and it's like, no, like if I'm asking you how you're doing, I want to know how you are doing. Like what is good, what is rough, like how are you feeling? And so we view that in a different way. Not that either way is better or worse, but it's really interesting seeing that difference, and it can make a huge difference when you try to learn and have that outreach for other people to understand their culture, because it can A, save you some trouble making some big mistakes, and B, really show them that you care about them and build that trust, which I love. That goes back to the speed of trust. But I got to have a conversation with one of my friends from Eastern Idaho. So I'm from a much bigger city, and it's very interesting talking to her, because for her, like Rexburg is like a pretty good sized city. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy, because like I'm from like Boise area, which is a lot bigger. Like the Treasure Valley, I think we're getting close to like 500,000 people, which is crazy because it's doubled in the last decade. But it was interesting because like we have different like ways that we speak, and different like time is another thing that we view differently, because over like downtown Boise area, like things are on a schedule, things are very busy, fast paced, and so we focus on that a lot more. Sorry, my store has a bell, but going back to things though, it's very interesting talking to her, because over in Eastern Idaho, like they'll use different like jokes or terminology for things, or even just the way they like view time as like, oh, like show up around this time kind of thing, whereas us it's like you show up at this time. And so it was really fun talking about that, because even in like the same area, generally we can all have very different views on things. So that was really fun to talk about, and I think these videos really helped me kind of remember that and put it in perspective. But that body language thing is really the biggest takeaway for me. So it was a good time. Thanks so much.